Read an article recently on The Athletic. They do such a good job covering golf, and I thought, yes, we need to get Gabby Herzig on because along with her colleague, Brody Miller, they wrote a piece. A lot of fun. It was over under major championship totals for a career. There's some of the top players in the game, some of whom we just saw. And Gabby joins us now. Gabby, thank you for being with us. I love the article. Let's start with the current best player in the world, Scottie Scheffler. You have the over-under on career majors for Scottie at 6.5. He currently has 2. Where are you going with this, over or under?
Yeah, I took the over on Scotty, mostly because I just believe in Scotty's longevity as a player. You can look at everything he's done with his coach, Randy Smith. Actually spoke to him a number of times this year about how Scotty really focuses on the fundamentals and with how consistent he is and how consistent he's been for the last few years, winning as much as he does and just being up there at the top of the leaderboard. I'm very much bullish on Scottie Scheffler's career. I think he'll last for a long time out there on tour, and his success will just continue to build as we've seen.
I'm with you. I go over for Scottie Scheffler. Since the start of 2022, Scottie's won 18% of his starts. That is close to prime Tiger, who was at about 23%. I think he's won a year for the next 5. He is that good, and I think he'll actually get better. We're watching a truly great player here who will prove to be, I believe, an all-time great. So he's at 13 wins, 2 majors, 2 players, the players back-to-back. I think he has a legitimate chance to get to this. This will sound ambitious, but I think 35 wins, 7 majors. So you're looking at
Wow.
2 to 2.5 wins a year for the next 10 years. That is no small task, but I don't think that money and complacency are a factor with this guy. He wants it. He's clear-minded. Now to Xander Schauffele. Xander at 4.5 is going to be the over-under here. He has 2. He picked off those 2 we just mentioned this year. What do you think for Xander Schauffele, over or under 4.5 career majors?
Yeah, this one's tricky. I haven't thought about Xander as much. It wasn't in our first installation of the article. Guys are gonna have to stay tuned for part 2, which is coming soon. But Xander, I think I'm gonna have to take the under on him. You know, getting to that number 5 has proven to be so difficult. Look at Rory McIlroy, 10 years trying to reach that number. We know Brooks is a major killer, and he got there at the PGA. But for Xander, I think it's taken him so long to get over this hump. I'm not quite sure. I think I need to see a bit more from him in terms of his major championship competitiveness over the next few years. Also, just seeing how his swing changes hold up. He built up a lot of swing speed in the offseason last year, and it proved to be very successful for him in 2024. But I just want to see the future trajectory of Xander's game, and I'm not ready to say that he'll surpass that 4.5.
I think he's going to go over it. I think next to Scheffler, Xander's the most complete player in the sport right now. The back 9, 31 at Troon on Sunday, 65-65 to close at the Open, and 65-65 to close the PGA Championship at Valhalla, the 15-footer there for the Cheese. I think, Gabby, that Xander now has the most important component, and he believes. And that confidence, I think, is going to carry him. All right, Brooks Koepka. 6.5 is your over-under. He is currently at 5. What do you think?
Yeah, I took the under on Brooks as well. I just think that the live golf schedule and the format and the structure of the league hasn't necessarily suited Brooks's game like it has a Bryson DeChambeau, where the time in between events and the sporadic nature of the schedule, less competitive golf, has actually really benefited him, and that he's been able to figure out his game and really dial in all the factors that he looks at as a player. But Brooks, on the other hand, has always kind of been a momentum guy. I think he needs a little bit of a boost of confidence in these next couple of years, and I don't know if live golf is giving him that. So I took the under on Brooks, although I do, we can't deny Brooks in majors. You never want to take him out of the picture. He's just that guy in a lot of ways.
He is that dude, isn't he? I'm with you. I'll say under. 1 more, yes, but not 2 more. Unquestionably, he's tough. He's built for majors, built for the pressure, but 2 more for Brooks with the injury history. That's a little too bullish for me. Jon Rahm. He currently has 2 major championships, over under 3.5. Over or under with a Spaniard? Gabby?
I took the over on Rahm. I know I just critiqued the live schedule, but I think that Rahm has a little bit more time and he needs to kind of lean in to his new, change in lifestyle as a professional golfer. Leaving the PGA Tour, going to live golf. His major record this past year was unquestionably one of the worst since he's turned pro, withdrawing from the U.S. Open, missing the cut at the PGA, and yeah, we just I think I see a trajectory for John Rahm where he's able to get back into the flow state that he was in these past couple of years, winning the Masters and the U.S. Open, his first two majors. We know he's a killer at Augusta National. So, like I said in the article, I think I can see another Masters for him. That's kind of where I'm looking the most with Rahm, with everything his game and it being built specifically for that golf course, and the history around it. We know Rahm's a big history guy and his connection to Sebi Ballesteros. So those are kind of what the things I'm thinking about with Rahm. But who knows? It's really kind of a coin toss with some of these guys who left for live.
All right, so he is at 2, over-unders 3.5. Question is, was this year with a live blowback, a blip on the radar? You win the Masters and a U.S. Open before the age of 30. You are a serious player. He just turned 30. I will say one more, not two, but I don't feel great about my bet because he's an enormous physical talent. One of the young players on the rise, Ludwig Oberg. Over-under, we'll put it at 1.5. He hasn't won a major yet. He's contended. What do you think about Ludwig?
I think absolutely over. I am continually so impressed by Ludwig. Just the robotic nature of his swing, how concise and consistent he is. I know he's dealing with an injury right now. He's out with a knee injury, but I think he'll recover nicely from that. I think he'll get his training regimen under control. I'm sure first year out on the PGA Tour, he had to figure a few things out with his body and maintaining his energy levels. But with Ludwig, I think the sky is the limit for him. I mean, he's just so impressive on so many levels. The way that he was able to perform in the Ryder Cup right out of college, he's just continually incredibly impressive.
Yeah, I will go over as well. Prisoner of the moment, but by the way, he's older than you think. He's 25. But the talent is obviously just elite. The temperament is superb, and the recent results are promising. All right, lastly, Jordan Spieth. He has 3 majors, but it's been a long time since 2017. That was the last. We'll put the over-under at 3.5. In other words, the question here is, does he win one more? What do you think, Gabby?
I said under, unfortunately. I know kind of the
Wow.
entire golf world really wants to see another Spieth major. I'm worried about his wrist injury. Last year, I was worried about, some of the changes he was making to his swing. It looked like he was kind of just overcomplicated things a little bit. I know, being on the ground at these PJ Tour events, one of the things I like to do is just stroll the driving range. And the one thing I noticed with Jordan is he just was constantly grinding on little moments and movements in his swing that I just didn't know what the purpose was. And it almost seemed a little bit like he was driving himself into some sort of loop. And I'm worried for Jordan's game, but I really would love to see him come back because how thrilling is it to see Spieth on the closing stretch of a golf tournament? I mean, trying to escape the most ridiculous scenarios and all the Spieth-like,
Yeah.
characteristics we know and love. So we'll
Yeah.
see that one.
You love him, but you don't think he's gonna win another major. Here's what I would say. He's the ultimate lightning in a bottle guy. He's going, I think, to catch it one more time. I refuse to believe that the guy who won 3 majors by the age of 23, he was an historically great young player. I refuse to believe that that guy is done winning majors, despite all the recent evidence suggesting that he is no longer one of the greats. He has gotten longer. His short game is still uncanny. If, as you said, that wrist heals and his iron play improves, able to go down after it, I do think, Gabby, he has one more in him. And if he wins one more soon, he's early 30s now, the confidence returns, then maybe he picks up another, but one at a time. Gabby, this is a whole lot of fun. Your work for The Athletic has been excellent. We look forward to reading more of your golf columns and reports, and we hope to have you back on soon. I know you're going to have over-under on majors, 2.0, another article coming out soon.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Rich. Love being here. And yeah, stay tuned for that article at The Athletic.
Look forward to it. Gabby Herzig of The Athletic.